Hi, and welcome back to, well, me. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've strongly been focusing on making content for artists as well as vocal engineers, and it's time for you producers to get some as well. So join me in the video where I will show you how to make your drums slap ridiculously hard. Let's jump right into it.
I hope that I can teach you something new you didn't know. I hope that you support me, help me make this channel grow. I'm putting in the effort, but right now it's moving slow. So if you're interested in learning how to play with sound, then stick around and make that red button blue and check out my other videos. I swear that I won't let you down. Welcome to Trigon Beats, I hope that you stick around.
Alright, so as I was just saying, today we're going to be talking about drums. More specifically about how to mix drums and how to make them slap really hard. I know that you probably had that moment before where you listen to a beat and you're like, damn, those drums are nasty. Now, without trying to sound like I know everything about mixing, because I clearly don't, I will show you how I mix my drums to get these results out of it. Now, I don't know about you, obviously this is very subjective, but to me this sounds hard as shit. So let me break down the mix for the drums in this beat, because it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. So this beat is a beat that's actually still a work in progress, but I prefer to usually start with the mixing while I'm producing, just so I can get the full immersion and the full sound to then start building on top of what I already have that's already mixed. And now with all that being said, let's just get into the mixing. Alright, so first of all, I have everything color coded, so everything that's this turquoise color is all of the drums. So I have the hi-hats up here, and I have the kicks, snares, and open hats in this drum track down there, and then some miscellaneous chant sounds and that sort of stuff in extra tracks underneath it. Red is the 808s, we'll also quickly touch base on how those mix together, but let's start with the drums. Alright, I'll play you the drums in solo so you can actually hear each individual drum playing and hitting and how it sounds, and then we'll get into how I mixed it all. Alright, so the first thing when it comes to mixing drums that I do is I group them. Now what that group is allowing me to do is to affect all of the individual drum tracks together, so I can put plugins and effects on there that will then affect the entire drum set, not just the hi-hats, just the kicks, so on and so forth. And as you can see down here in the effects window, there's really not much going on. So mainly, and this is going to be the absolute star of the show, Neutron 3 elements. Now, Neutron 3 is a plugin by iZotope, and specifically why I use this plugin is for this feature, the transient shaper. Now, this is an absolute game changer when it comes to drum mixing. The transient shaper, as soon as you start bumping up the attack, it's nuts what this plugin does for your drums. So first of all, like most other iZotope plugins, Neutron also has a track assistant that will sort of listen to the track that you're feeding into it and then adjust some settings automatically. That's usually what I start off with the upfront style and then percussion, obviously because it's drums. So let's go ahead and really quickly do that. Alright, so it's done some light EQing, bumping up the low end and then the high end at about 6K, it's shelving off. It has an exciter on it, which does a little bit of excitement and then a tiny bit of compression as well. But here we come to the transient shaper. Listen to what the drums do as soon as I start pulling up this attack. Right, so obviously this is far too much, but you can see in the lines what it's doing. It's essentially just compressing up the transients as soon as they hit. So as soon as the kick drum hits, as soon as the snare drum hits, it boosts it in volume and then it falls off a little bit, giving it all of that extra attack. Now that I would say was really one of the biggest game changers when it comes to drum mixing for me, because this works wonders when you want your drums to really slap a lot harder. However, this is not the only thing that's going on here, because as a little extra, I have a little bit of fresh air on the drum group as well. I've done an entire video on fresh air a couple weeks ago, so I'll leave the little thing in the corner or the link down in the description, so definitely check that out if you want more information on fresh air. These are my settings, about 8% mid, about 15% high. Just gives it that little bit of extra sparkle. By the way, Fresh Air is completely free, so definitely go ahead and check out the video and grab it if you're interested. I can only recommend it. It's a true 10 out of 10 for vocal mixing as well as drums and master buses and everything. But of course, it doesn't end here either. So on the drum track with just the kicks and the snares and the open hats, what is going on here? Alright, so besides my gain staging plugins, setting the drums at -12 dB, which I should probably make an entire video about as well, how I do my gain staging and all that. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. On this drum track, I also have a glue compressor. Oh, the almighty good old glue compressor. Now, when it comes to that, I'm going to be completely honest, I am pretty lazy. So instead of adjusting all these parameters myself, I just go with the presets that Ableton gives you. Mainly for drums, if I just want them to break necks and just to knock stupidly hard, I just go with the full parallel compression. I don't use it as parallel compression, it's just compressing the shit out of the drums, but it's in my genre, in the trap niche, in the hip hop niche, where everything's like super slappy and hard, works amazingly. So let me show you what the drums sound like with and without this glue compression, and you might actually be surprised at how much it does. Now, besides that, all I really do is some light EQing on the kick drum and the 808 to make those work together. So on my kick drum, I have a little boost right around 100 Hertz, just because with this specific kick drum sample, that's a frequency that really sticks out. And I'm cutting it off at 30 Hertz because realistically, everything underneath 25, 30, whatever, you don't really need it. And then on my 808s, I basically have the exact same thing reversed. So right around 100 Hertz, I have a little bit of a dip to make some room for the kick drum. And then I'm actually boosting before I shelf off at around 25 Hertz. Also have a little boost at right around 350, 400 Hertz. Because again, specifically with my 808s, this is what sounded good. Also, if you want an entire video on how I mix my 808s and how all of this stuff right here works together and some extra features, let me know down in the comments below, but we will not have time to do that today. All right, so that was basically already the entire mixing process for drums. And I'm sure that you will notice that if you try to use the exact same settings that I'm using here, it might not work for you because different drum samples react differently to different frequencies, different types of compression, all of that stuff. But you can base your own drum mix on what I've been showing you here, and you just have to adjust it accordingly to your specific sound and style and preference. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope that your producers learned something. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions on drum mixing, or if you have any other specific music production questions that I could tackle in next week's video. I will leave all the links to the plugins that I've been showing you in this video down in the description below, so definitely check those out if I was tickling a little bit of curiosity within you. And with all that stuff being said, let's stop talking and I'll see you next week. Peace!